Revolvings Hunter, and welcome back to my channel. And I'd like to say a few things before we get into the bread and butter of this video. First, sorry, it's been about a week now, I think, since I've uploaded a video, getting close to it. And the reason simply being is that, one, I had a really busy week at work, and so coming home from work, I was getting exhausted. For those of you that don't know, I work in retail as a day job, and my job is doing my resets in the stores, so resetting all the price tags and everything, because it's a new year. And yeah, we just hit a really bad section this last week. We're pretty much done, and we only have one more really bad section left. So I might have, coming up in the next few weeks, I might have another period where I'm not really uploading that much. Just forgive that. And the other reason is simply, there's two other reasons. Another reason is that on the 6th, it was my birthday. So on the 6th and the 7th, I went out for lunch. The 6th was with my family, and the 7th was with some friends. I went out for lunch after work and all that. And the final reason is that I've actually been playing the Division 2 beta. Yes, I pre-ordered it to get in, but that's only because I was a big fan of the original Division, so I kind of know what I'm paying for. I wouldn't pre-order a game if I didn't know what I was expecting. Never pre-order if you don't know what you're buying, kind of thing. And yeah, when Division 2 fully launches, I plan to make some videos on that in the future as well, due to the fact that, like I said, I'm a big fan of the Division. The reason why I'm not doing it during the beta is that they have a memory leak issue in the beta, and due to the memory leak, whenever I try to record footage and all that, the OBS recording alongside of the games, and with its memory leak issues, causes my memory to kind of max out and causes it to stagger. So that's the big reason. But anyway, into the meat of the video. Today's video is, it's not going to be on the Witcher collaboration, I'm afraid, due to the fact that I'm a PC player, and so we haven't gotten it yet. I'm okay with this. It's going to come in due time, and when it does, I will cover what I feel about it. No, today is going to be the name is Laviasoth quest. The name is Laviasoth quest, which from now on I'm just going to refer to it as Laviasoth event. Is a event quest of the same vein as the Greatest Jagress event, which I touched on earlier. I made a video about that, and I wanted to talk about this quest while comparing it to the Greatest Jagress. And so the way I feel that we should do this is I want to list the pros and cons of the Laviasoth quest, as well as compare it to the Greatest Jagress, and then go on from there. And then afterwards, after I do the comparison, I'll give you my impressions of the quest and all that. And yeah, so the Laviasoth event quest, starting with some cons. This one's a con, but at the same time, I guess to talk about this con, I have to kind of talk about the Greatest Jagress at the same time. It's that it was just so disappointing. The Laviasoth quest does not add any new moves to Laviasoth. It doesn't add any new mechanics. All it did was make him slightly bigger, and it made it so that he dropped decorations. There's nothing new mechanically to his fight. And so, unfortunately, when compared to the Greatest Jagress, and the love and the care that they put into crafting that event quest, it just doesn't hold up. And then the second con is that due to this, it is still just a traditional Laviasoth hunt. So all the problems that Laviasoth has, they are still there to a slightly lesser extent, but it's still there. So there's no real mechanical changes that could have made the fight more fun for us to hunt. But honestly, that's pretty much it when it comes to the cons. Now let's talk about the pros. Starting with is for a pro. Well, although there's no new mechanics, there's no new moves to the fight, I have found that the name is Laviasoth Quest tends to cycle through its phases faster than the normal Laviasoth. And what do I mean by phases? Well, Laviasoth has essentially 2 phases. He has his swimming phase and his on land phase. His swimming phase is annoying because you can't hit him unless you're using a ranged weapon if he's in his home area. And if he's in other zones, then he's just basically turning himself into a mobile turret. And if you're in his standing mode, you can do damage to him, sure. But he then hardens, and his hardening doesn't just give him armor, it makes it so that even with white sharpness, your weapons bounce off. Of course, heating up that armor, which is from cooled down lava, will make it so that you can injure him again. This is the reason why they have a lot of torch pods littering the zones that you fight Laviasoth in. It's almost as if they designed the zones for the mechanics of the fight that would take place in it. Who would have guessed? But it's still kind of stupid that you have to like use a pod to make it so that you can damage Laviasoth, right? And so that's essentially his 2 phases to his fight. They differ slightly depending on what room he's in, but he tends to alternate between them. In a standard fight, Laviasoth takes a pretty decent amount of time in both phases. He'll do at least like in his he'll swim for a while, a little bit longer, and then he definitely stays in his above land stage longer than in the other fight. This fight, I find the phases are faster, maybe only marginally faster on like the swimming side of things, but on the land side, I find that he goes in the swim a lot faster. Which, if he's in his home area, that's actually good, because you want him to swim and then jump in the air, because that's the way you get your decorations. That and his big fireball attack that he does, which he can do either while he's swimming or while he's on land, depending on the zone. But yeah, so you want him to swim, and so, but at the same time, you want him to be above ground so you can damage him. And I find that they did find a good balance between this. It doesn't make the fight any more fun, but it makes it less of a hassle. It basically, recently I watched the proof video from Rage Gaming, and as he described it as, it's like the alrightiest Laviasoth, and you know, that's about right. It's not great, it's not phenomenal like the greatest Jagras, but it's acceptable, and for Laviasoth, that's actually a really big compliment. And yeah, so another pro for this event is that you're guaranteed 2 warp phase stones for completing the quest. But the greatest Jagras event quest gives you 2 guaranteed Worn phase stones. Though that being said, I think they kind of balance each other out when you think of the fact that the greatest Jagras, although it gives you Worn phase stones guaranteed, it just has a more concentration of its phase stones when it starts attacking you with them. Whereas the Laviasoth is more spread out, and they're harder to see, so I find that farming Laviasoth, you actually pick up less phase stones from the ground, And so I think they kind of balance each other out, but it's still a pro, you know. They understood that it's technically a harder fight, and, you know, it's a harder fight, and Laviasoth, he makes it so that the decorations are harder to see and they're more spread out, so we'll give you the higher tiered phase stones guaranteed. And another pro is I got myself my first tenderizer jewel. Yeah, I know, people always complain about attack jewels, and yes, I haven't got my second one of those, just the guaranteed one you get. But I haven't gotten any tenderizer jewels or mighty jewels yet, and I kind of need those to maximize my hammer build. So getting my first tenderizer jewel, I was pretty stoked. So that's a pro for me personally. All in all, my impression of the fight is it actually is my favorite form of Laviasoth to fight. Not that that's saying much. He's the least hunted monster in the game in the first year for a reason. And yeah, not really much to say. Anyway, these were my thoughts on the Name is Laviasoth quest, and let's move on to the outro. Well, that was it. Thank you all for watching the video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up down there, and if you disliked it, leave a thumbs down. If you want to talk about the topic we discussed in this video, leave it down in the comments down below. If you have any feedback you would like to leave, you can do that as well. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, let the Saphire star light your way. Later, hunters.